Hi! So in this video I'm going to do a mum tag. There's been quite a few mum tag videos I've seen going around, and I was nominated to do this by my friend Mikala. So I will link her mum tag video in the description below, so please go over there and give her channel a like, subscribe and watch the video. And mum tags are a series of videos that are going around the internet at the moment, and I think they're designed to kind of give new mums, all mums, a bit of support to just say, hey, been there, I know what you're going through, and there's a series of questions and it's kind of a bit of fun, and I thought I'd join in with it. So, question number 1. What is your favourite mum hack? Well, my mum hacks have changed as Jacob has grown older. I have found this trick. I don't know whether I found it on the internet or whether I just developed this knack of doing things for quickness and ease, but I have got this trick where I put all of the bedding inside a pillowcase. So that will be all of the bedding that is contained for that one bed inside one pillowcase. So it's all in there, the fitted sheet, pillowcases and the duvet, all folded up nicely, put inside one pillowcase, folded, put into a drawer, put into the airing cupboard. And that goes up for all of the beds now in my house, so that if there is ever a night where there is a nappy explosion situation, or your little one is poorly in the middle of the night and there's been sick or whatever over the bed, it's really simple to change in one quick easy go, because you're not constantly like rooting around trying to find the sheets and trying to find this and trying to find that, and that just became a bit of a nightmare. So very quickly I designed this little concept of putting everything in one thing. Then I could just shout to my other half, Richard, get me some new bedding, and he wasn't having to go, where's the pillowcase and where's the duvet cover and where's the, because we know that that's kind of what goes on in a guy's mind. You can tell them until you're blue in the face where things live, but they just don't pay attention until they need to get it, do they? Let's face it. Or is that just me? Don't know. Maybe put a bit of a comment in there, I don't know. Comment and see if you're the same as me. Number 2. Most embarrassing mum moment. One of the first embarrassing mum moments, and Jake was just born. We breastfed, so when you're at home you tend to just let it all hang out, because it's just, especially in those first few weeks when they are cluster feeding, it's just so, you just haven't got the energy half the time. So I was just walking around in my bra most of the time, and this one particular day, now I did have quite a few really expensive, beautiful breastfeeding tops that you wear, and they kind of have little cutouts or little flaps that you lift up, and they're absolutely brilliant, and I totally recommend them. And I had this top on, I remember, and it had like little thing that you could just open up, and you know, so I had that on, and I had fed my baby, fed Jake, and then clipped my bra back up and hadn't closed my top back up. It's kind of like a little wrap thing, and I hadn't closed it up fully, and I think the door went, and I answered the door to the DPD driver, parcel delivery guy, and had my bra, it wasn't my full breast, but like had my bra on show, just had no idea. And then it wasn't until after I looked down and I was like, oh, that poor man. So that was probably one of my first mum embarrassing moments. Number 3. What part of the day do you love the most? The part of the day where you get snuggles. Now that changes every day, especially as they get older, because they get more independent and want less and less snuggles, so they become a lot more cherished. I love my little cuddles on the sofa with Jake, or on the bed, and I never want them to end. So yeah, that's my favourite part of the day. Question number 4. What part of the day do you like the least? Okay, now if there has been no nap, and Jake's just at that age now where the naps are on their way out, he's transitioning out of them. So I would say it is getting to that point now where he sometimes doesn't take a nap, but it's hard work. As soon as we get to dinner time, which is about 3-4 o'clock, it can be really tough because I've got to try and make him stay awake till at least 6 o'clock, otherwise he's up at the crack of, you know, in the middle of the night, and he thinks that he's had a full night's sleep. So that's really difficult. So I do have to kind of keep him awake, keep him entertained, and it's really difficult. So food, getting any dinner down him, bath time, getting his pyjamas on and getting him into bed can be really difficult if he's skipped his nap. So I would say a no nap, dinner, bath, bed routine can be my least favourite part of the day, just because it's so hard, and I don't like seeing him so exhausted. But what can you do? I mean, sometimes he fights having a nap, and I try everything. I try all the tricks that used to work, and none of them work anymore because he's kind of trying to get out of the naps. So yeah, that's hard. Question number 5. The worst thing somebody said to you while pregnant. Do you know, I think I can honestly say I don't think I had anything negative happen or said to me while I was pregnant. I had a really lovely pregnancy. I found out I was pregnant straight away, and I knew from week 2 of being pregnant, and around week 6 was when the morning sickness came, and that lasted till about week 13, and that was tough. It was like a hangover that just never left, and it was just awful, obviously without the good night out beforehand. So, you know, joyous. Apart from the morning sickness, I had a really, really lovely pregnancy, and I enjoyed being pregnant, and I can't think of anything negative that happened during that time. So no, not for me. Thank you very much. Question number 6. How did you prep for giving birth? So I went to every antenatal class there was going in my area, and more. I went to pregnancy relaxation classes, which were lovely. Met loads of lovely new mums to be at the thing, and we're still friends now. And that was really nice. It was nice bonding time with new mums. It was also nice bonding time with your bump, and it was lovely. I went to the antenatal classes set up from the doctors and the NHS, and they were pretty good. Quite enjoyed it. I read all books going, and I also did hypnobirthing, and this I wanted to do anyway, but my midwife actually suggested I do it anyway because I suffered quite badly with an anxiety of not being in control of when and where and how much it will hurt, you know, like it's just the unknown, and I was really quite anxious about the unknown of not being in control. And so I went to hypnobirthing, and I have to say it was the best thing I ever did, and had I not have had it, I probably would have suffered from more anxiety. So yeah, it totally helped me get to grips with what was to come. Can totally recommend it. Question number 7. Did you make a birth plan? Now, I didn't make a birth plan, and this was suggested from the hypnobirthing classes that I perhaps didn't make a birth plan, because birth plans, whilst I was able to fully state my wants, my needs, my desires to the midwife there and then, birthing can go in such a different direction to what you have set out in your head. And for me personally, I didn't want to trigger any anxieties because I had planned how my birth was going to go, and it was going to go down one road. Then suddenly, all of a sudden, you know, something happens and you're taken off down another road, and I didn't want anything to, you know, kind of set off any anxiety in me. So that was good for me, because my labour and my birth would not have been how I planned it at all, and I had to take each step as it come, and I'm sure as we get later on in the video you'll hear why. So no, I didn't make a birth plan, and I am pleased that I didn't. Question number 8. Something you bought and never used. Well, when Jake arrived, he was the boss from the second he was born, and pretty much hated everything. He hated the car seat and would scream blue murder until we arrived at the destination and could get him out, and that was stressful. He hated his pram, he hated his Moses basket, he hated his cot, he hated everything. He only wanted to be carried on me, worn by me. What did I buy that he never used? I bought a snuggle bundle, which is one of these, like, it's kind of like a wrap thing that you can place your baby inside, and it's meant to be able to transition them from their cots into their car seat and their car seat into a cot with ease without having to wake them up. And I thought, oh, this is going to be marvellous, you know, everybody's talking about these snuggle bundles, and it just wouldn't have happened. So I think that stayed in its wrapper, and I think I perhaps probably gave that to a charity or a women's refuge. Did I? Yeah, I did. So that's what happened with that. Question number 9. 3 hospital bag must-haves. So my hospital bag, before having the baby, I, you know, packed things like a crossword and, you know, a couple of snacks and my nail varnish, and, you know, I thought, oh, it's going to be marvellous, I'm going to go, it's going to be like a weekend away. Not! So what I would do in hindsight, and pack in hindsight, because I ended up having an emergency C-section, and I had to send my husband out to get me some big knickers, and I mean big knickers, and he had no idea what type of big knickers to get, and only I would have known had I have seen them, because I didn't want anything that had any lace on the top that would irritate the scar. I didn't want anything that was going to be too tight or too elasticated. I didn't want anything that was lycra. I wanted just cotton, baggy, loose, but high, very high-waisted pants. And bless him, he had to go out the morning after I had Jake and ask some poor girl in TK Maxx if there were any big pants that he could buy. And I think I'm a size 8 to 10 normally. I was a size 14 to 16 pregnant at full term, and I think I was wearing size 22 to 24 knickers because I just couldn't bear anything around the scar. Yeah, couldn't bear it, not for the first few days, weeks anyway. So yeah, went for comfort. I highly recommend you take big knickers, and bigger than you imagine that you will need, just in case. Take loads of maternity pads. Again, more than you think you will need. Just big, thick, soft maternity pads. Highly recommended. And third thing, take a great big piece of, I don't know how to explain, but take like a medal to give yourself, because you have just been through one of the most amazing, exhausting and miraculous things a human being can do, and you deserve a huge pat on the back, because let me tell you, it's incredible what you've just done. And apart from people who come and visit and, you know, they all want to see the baby and make sure you're okay, you are kind of overlooked because the baby is the star of the show. So, you know, don't forget to big yourself up and give yourself a well-deserved pat on the back for getting through it. Because really the party has only just begun. As soon as that baby's arrived, the party has just begun. It really has. Question number 10. Are you a routine mum or do you just go with the flow? Personally, I am a definite routine mum. It works so much better for us as a family. It works so much better for Jake. He led me into being the parent that I am today because I did everything by instinct. I never wanted to hear him cry, never wanted to feel him be upset. So as soon as he cried, I wanted to stop that as quickly as possible, and routine really helped with that, and it continues to help now. Again, I can tell you to the time, what time he will want to eat, what time he will want to nap if he's napping, what time he will want to go to bed at night, you know, and what time he will wake up in the morning. So yeah, routine has definitely worked well for us. Question number 11. What kind of labour and pain meds did you have? So my labour was 36 hours long, fully established, meaning I had contractions every 4 minutes, coming thick and fast, lasting a minute every 4 minutes for about 32 hours. It was exhausting, and I wasn't able to eat during that time because I was being monitored for preeclampsia. I had quite high blood pressure. Having had normal blood pressure throughout pregnancy, suddenly I had high blood pressure. Go figure. But my labour took quite a few twists and turns. I never progressed beyond 4 centimetres in the whole 32 hours that I was in established labour, and it was exhausting. So it got to, I think, hour 32, and the midwife suggested that I have some, I can't remember the name of it now, but the medicine that they give to induce you. So it was like on an IV drip, and it was to bring on my contractions even harder and even more frequent. And I just thought, I'm exhausted, I'm hungry, I am tired, there is no way I will be able to go through this and birth and, you know, and then start looking after a baby without having anything. So I ended up having an epidural so that I could sleep for a little bit. They checked me after I think they checked me after 3 hours, and I was still only 4 centimetres, and they decided that I had to have an emergency section. They rushed me down. I had an emergency C-section, and it was discovered that Jake's head was slightly tilted and he was going to just be stuck. So had I have tried to naturally birth, it wouldn't have been possible. So luckily I had a great medical team who looked after me. I mean, the midwives and the surgeons and the anaesthetist and everyone that was there were absolutely outstanding from start to finish, and I think I went through about 3 different midwives shift cycles, and they, you know, did their full shift, went home, came back, and I was still there in labour, and they, you know, they were amazing, and I have to give them a huge shout out, and that was at Preston Royal Hospital in Lancashire in the UK, and they are just incredible. Can't speak highly enough of them. So yeah, I ended up with an epidural and an emergency C-section. Question number 12. Have you ever been mum shamed? I don't think I have. If I have, I haven't paid any attention to it. Obviously now that I am putting my life out there, it's open for scrutiny, and to be honest, I think everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I am quite good at taking it on the chin and not really taking it to heart. At the end of the day, people don't know your circumstance, and unless they do, I don't really take anything personally if they, you know, so it's kind of water off a duck's back. So I don't know, I haven't taken any mum shaming personally if it's happened to me. Question number 13. The biggest challenge you faced since becoming a mum? Wow. Okay, so lack of sleep, number one. And now Jake has just turned 3 and he hasn't slept through the night once yet, not once. So he's got a lot better now, and again I'm going to do a video on why I think he hasn't slept through the night, because he had his adenoids and tonsils removed in May this year, and I think that had a lot to do with his restless sleep, because he was waking 12, 13, 14, 15 times a night. It was really difficult, and he couldn't breathe. You know, his adenoids were enlarged, his tonsils met in the middle, so when he was asleep and relaxed, you know, his tongue would relax, and I'm sure it would close the airway. So he would want me, because he would latch on to me at night without feeding, but he would latch on to me, and I'm sure that what that position did in his mouth would create an opening so that he was able to breathe. And I would distinctly hear a difference in his breathing and when he was latched on to when he wasn't. I mean, it was quite scary towards him having the operation. It did get worse, and I've got a video coming up on the symptoms that Jake had, and I took videos of him while he was sleeping, just so for documentation, so I could show the doctors and for myself as well, because he would have such terrible night's sleep. Therefore I did, because he would only want me, and he could only feel like he could sleep with me. So that was my first biggest shock, I suppose, my biggest challenge. And second challenge is the loss of your own identity, I suppose, because yes, you become a mum, and yes, it's the most important thing in your world, and yes, you love that child to pieces and would do anything for them, but I think you miss sometimes the you were before. And I think my life has started again since having Jake, and I think that I've found a self-worth that I never thought I would have or want, and it's been incredible. It's been an incredible journey, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But every so often I miss the identity of the Leanne before having Jake, the carefree, the no worries, the no stresses Leanne, but they are few and far between, those moments of that feeling of loss. But yeah, I definitely think that new mums definitely suffer from a loss of their own identity, and I'm here for you. So, you know, if ever